गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बोफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे We'll chant from Shloka 37. अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्याम् पञ्चकोशविवेकतः स्वात्मानं तत उद्धृत्य परं ब्रह्म प्रपद्यते अभाने स्थूलदेहस्य स्वप्ने यद्भानमात्मनः सोऽन्वयो व्यतिरेकस्तद् भाने ज्ञानवभासनम् लिङ्गाभाने सुषुप्तौ स्यात् आत्मनो भानमन्वयः व्यतिरेकस्तु तद्भाने लिङ्गस्याभानमुच्यते तद्विवेकाद्विविक्ता स्युः कोशाः प्राणमनोधियः ते हि तत्र गुणावस्था भेदमात्रात् पृथक्कृताः सुषुप्त्यभाने भानन्तु समाधावात्मनोऽन्वयः व्यतिरेकस्त्वात्मभाने सुषुप्त्यनवभासनम् यथा मुञ्जादिशीकैवम् आत्मा युक्त्या समुद्धृतः शरीरत्रितयाद्धीरैः परं ब्रह्मैव जायते परापरात्मनोरेवम् युक्त्या सम्भावितैकता तत्त्वमस्यादिवाक्यैः सा भागत्यागेन लक्ष्यते जगतो यदुपादानं मायामादाय तामसीम् निमित्तं शुद्धसत्त्वान्ताम् उच्यते ब्रह्म तद्गिरा। तत्त्वमसि महावाक्य. Tattvamasi is a Mahavakya because it reveals the non-difference between Jiva and Brahman. In this Mahavakya, if we take the Vachyartha, direct meaning of Tatpada and Tvampada, direct meaning of the word Tvam and Tat, then the equation doesn't make sense. Therefore, we have to take an indirect meaning. The direct meaning is called Vachyartha. The indirect meaning is called Lakshyartha. The process of taking Lakshyartha is called Lakshana. There are three types of Lakshana: Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana and Jahad Ajahal Lakshana, which is also known as Bhaga Lakshana or Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Now, in order to understand the Lakshana in Tattvamasi, the author is explaining the Vachyartha of both Tvampada and Tatpada. In Shloka 44, the author explained the Vachyartha of Tat. What is the direct meaning of Tat? So, Tat is Brahman with the twofold upadhis: Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Upadhi, Prakriti, and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti. Initially, the Brahman gets associated with Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. Then the Brahman becomes a Nimitta Karana. And then the same Brahman gets associated with the Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. sorry, not Malina Sattva, Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, and then it becomes Upadana Karana, material cause. That is how Brahman becomes Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. This Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana is called Ishvara. So that is the Vachyartha of Tatpada. Now Shloka 45 explains the Vachyartha of the word Tvam, Tvam-pada. Yada malina sattvantam kama karma didoshitam adatte tatparam brahma tvam padena tadochyate. Tat Param Brahma, the same Param Brahma, the same Parabrahma, when gets associated with another Upadhi, what is it? Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, which is called Avidya. So, Tat Param Brahma, the same Param Brahma, Kama karmadi dushitam malina sattvam tam adatte. Takes up the malina sattva pradhana prakriti. How it is malina? Kama karmadi dushitam. It is polluted by kama, karma, etc. It has kama, desires, karma, punya papa, and so on. Adi means so many samskara, so many vasanas, all are included. So, kama karmadi doshitam malina sattvam adatte. The same Brahman takes the malina sattva pradhana as the upadhi, means associated with avidya, which is malina sattva pradhana. Then the same Brahman is called by the word Tvam. Tvam padena tadochyate. Then it becomes a Jiva. And Jiva is the Vachyartha of the word Tvam. Direct meaning of the word Tvam. Thus, we saw the Vachyartha of Tatpada and Vachyartha of Tvampada. In short, the Vachyarthas include the Upadhis. Now, the author explains Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha of Tvampada and Tatpada. Tritayim pitam muktva paraspara virodhinim akhandam satchidanandam महावाक्येन लक्ष्यते. So, in Vachyartha, there is a Paraspara Virodha, mutual contradiction between Tvam and Tat. What are the mutual contradictions? One is Sarvajna, another is Alpajna. One is Sarvashaktiman, another is Alpashaktiman. One is Niyanta, another is Niyamya. One is the ruler, another is the ruled. These are various contradictions. As long as these contradictions are there, the equation cannot make sense. Therefore, in order to understand the equation, we should get rid of the aspects that cause the contradiction, the aspects that are responsible for the contradiction. What causes the contradiction? The upadhi. As long as there are upadhis, there is a contradiction. The Ishvara has the twofold upadhis, Shuddha Sattva Pradhana and Tamah Pradhana. Now remove the upadhis. What remains? Pure Satchidananda, pure Chaitanya. So it is the Lakshyartha of Tatpada. The Lakshyartha of the word Tat is the Brahman, the Satchidananda, without the upadhis. Now in Tvampada also, what is the Vachyartha of Tvampada? Satchidananda with avidya upadhi, with the Malina Sattva Pradhana upadhi. Now remove the Malina Sattva Pradhana upadhi. What remains? Pure Satchidananda. Therefore, left hand side and right hand side, when you remove the upadhi, what remains in the left hand side? Satchidananda. When you remove the upadhi in right hand side, what remains? Satchidananda. Satchidananda is equal to Satchidananda. Shuddha Chaitanya is equal to Shuddha Chaitanya. There is no difference whatsoever. That is how, if you take the Lakshyartha, the Mahavakya makes sense. See, Paraspara Virodhinim, mutually contradictory. What are they? Tritayim api, the threefold upadhis. So, left hand side there are two upadhis, and right hand side one upadhi. So, the two upadhis should be dropped at the left hand side, Tat, and one upadhi has to be dropped from the right hand side. That is told Tritayim api tam muktva. the upadhis that are responsible for the mutual contradiction, they should be dropped. It is bhagatyaga, giving up the upadhi aspect of both the meanings. Giving up the upadhi aspect of both the vachyarthas. Then what is the lakshyartha? The lakshyartha is akhandam satchidanandam. Satchit ananda. Which is akhanda. Akhanda means free from all differences. Free from sajatiya bheda, vijatiya bheda and swagata bheda. No difference whatsoever. Ekameva advitiyam. That kind of Satchidananda is Mahavakyena lakshyate. It is implied by the Mahavakya. It is revealed by the Mahavakya as the Lakshyartha. So Mahavakya removes the notional difference between you and Brahman. Before you understand the Mahavakya, Brahman was remote. Brahman was away for you. Brahman is away for you means the Parama Purushartha is away for you. The absolute happiness, absolute completeness, it had been away from you. As long as you have not understood the Mahavakya. Brahman was paroksha. The completeness was paroksha, far away, remote. As long as it is paroksha, as long as the completeness is away from us, we try to find completeness here and there. We struggle for completeness. That is samsara. And when we understand the Mahavakya, once we understand the Mahavakya, the Brahman is no longer paroksha for us. The completeness that we were seeking, the permanent happiness that we were seeking, the absolute fulfillment that we were seeking is no longer remote. It is us. The Tat is Tvam. I am complete. I am Purna. I am Brahman. I am the all-pervasive substance, all-pervasive reality of the universe. This is the implication of Mahavakya. Shloka 47. सोऽयमित्यादिवाक्येषु विरोधात्तदिदन्तयोः त्यागेन भागयोरेकः आश्रयो लक्ष्यते यथा. The author gives an example where similar lakshana is employed to understand the meaning of a statement. The statement is Soyam Devadattaha. Saha Ayam Devadattaha. If you break the sandhi, it becomes Saha Ayam Devadattaha. You have seen a person called Devadatta. When you were in school, he was your classmate. His name is Devadatta. You knew him very well as a school boy, young Devadatta. And after you completed the school, you left the school and went somewhere, lived in a particular city. Devadatta didn't stay in the city. After the school, he left home. He went to Himalaya and into some cave in Himalaya, and he became a sadhu. For 40 years, he didn't return from Himalaya. He grew a beard. He became a sadhu, and you have no connection with him. But after 40 years, Devadatta returns, and then he approaches one of your friends who recognizes him. Oh, this is the same Devadatta. And then he brings the Devadatta to you with the beard and all. And the friend asks you, do you know this gentleman? The common friend is asking you, do you know this gentleman? You are not able to make out. This is a sadhu with the rags, beard. You are not able to recognize him. Then your friend tells you, do you remember one Devadatta, your classmate? Then you remember Devadatta because he was your close friend during school days. You have played together, so you remember the Devadatta. But what you remember is the Devadatta of that time. Let us say 1970, you met Devadatta. The Devadatta of 1970 you remember, who wore shorts and didn't have beard. He had a school uniform, school bag. Devadatta with such a feature. Devadatta with only 4 feet height. Now you see another person. What you are seeing now in front of you is another person. That Devadatta was only 10 years old. This Devadatta is 60 years old. 50, okay. Okay, 50 years old. 50 is too less. Okay. That Devadatta was 15. No, this Devadatta is 55. Okay. So 55 years old Devadatta. He has a beard and everything. And he has some white hair also has appeared. Beard has turned white. That kind of Devadatta. So, the Devadatta you see, you remember. He has different features. He is called Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta. The Devadatta with the attributes of that time. And the present Devadatta, he is Etatkala Vishishta Devadatta. Devadatta with certain attributes belonging to this time. So there are certain specific attributes of that time that are opposed to the specific attributes of this time. Beard and no beard. How can you reconcile these two? How can you equate these two? A small school boy is equal to a sadhu with the beard. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Therefore, if you take all the attributes belonging to that time and all the attributes belonging to this time, Soyam Devadattaha, this is that Devadatta, doesn't make sense. But your friend is telling Soyam Devadattaha, this is that Devadatta, that school boy. Then what do? You remove all the beard, etc. in your imagination. You try to see him properly, beyond the beard. You have to see beyond the beard. Generally, when we see somebody, the beard draws our attention. We don't see beyond the beard. Beard becomes his identity. Now you see beyond the beard, look into his eyes. Oh, his eyes are same. The facial features are same. That is how you recognize. So to recognize this Devadatta as the same old Devadatta, you have to remove the specific attributes pertaining to this time and pertaining to that time. So there also Bhagatyaga Lakshana is used. From this Devadatta, you remove the beard, etc. Beard, the ochre cloth, everything you have to remove. Removing means not physically. In your understanding, you have to remove. Then you see the features that are common to Devadatta, the features that are intrinsic to Devadatta, only those features you should have in mind. Then you can equate this Devadatta with that Devadatta. So this is the example. Soyamityadi vakyeshu, in the statements like Soyam Devadattaha, this Devadatta is that Devadatta. Tadidantayoha virodhat. Tat and idam means that and this are opposed to each other. That can never be this. Means that time can never be this time. The attributes belonging to that time cannot be the attributes belonging to this time. Therefore, tadidantayoha tyagena, bhagayoha tyagena, the bhagas are given up. Bhaga means the attribute belonging to that time and the attributes belonging to this time. The attributes that are specific to that time and the attributes that are specific to this time, they are given up. And ekaha ashrayaha lakshyate, the one ashraya, the one base, the one who is the base of both the attributes. Attributes of that time and attributes of this time. You have given up the beard, but you have taken the base of the beard, the intrinsic Devadatta. He is lakshyate, he is implied, revealed by Lakshana. So this is the example. Yatha. Yatha means it is the example. So this is the Drishtanta shloka. This shloka gives the Drishtanta, the example. The following one is Darshtanta. 48. Maya vidye vihayaivam upadhih parajivayoh akhandam satchidanandam param brahmaiva lakshyate. So, in the same manner, even in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, the upadhis have to be dropped. Parajivayoho upadhi. Para means Ishvara. Ishvara and Jiva. Parajivayoho. Upadhi. The twofold upadhis. So, one has the Maya upadhi. Ishvara has the Maya upadhi. Here he has taken the Shuddha Sattva and Tamaf, Shuddha Sattva Pradhana and Tamaf Pradhana are taken together here, collectively taken, collectively called Maya. And the Jiva's upadhi, avidya upadhi, Ishvara Upadhi is Maya Upadhi and Jiva's Upadhi is Avidya Upadhi. So, Upadhi Vihaya, Parajivayoho Upadhi Vihaya, giving up the Upadhis of Ishvara and Jiva, which are Maya and Avidya respectively. What is revealed by the Mahavakya? Akhandam Satchidanandam Param Brahma Eva. Only the Param Brahma, only the Supreme Brahman, who is Akhandam Satchidanandam, who is Satchidananda without any differences. It is revealed by Mahavakya. Mahavakyena lakshyate. It is revealed by Mahavakya not as Vachyartha. It is revealed as the Lakshyartha. The next 4 shlokas, starting from Savikalpasya Lakshyatve, etc., 49, 50, 51 and 52. These 4 shlokas, they take us to some other discussion, a philosophical debate where certain questions, certain objections of Naiyayikas, the Naiyayika philosophers, have been discussed. So, in this group, it is not very relevant. It is only some intellectual, logical discussion, that's all. So, it is not going to help us in moksha. That is why I am planning to skip it, because if I start telling it, it will anyway go above the head for many. Already yesterday certain things went above the head. So this will also, this may go above the head, but even if it goes above the head, I could have tried to bring it below the head, provided it was useful for your understanding of the vision. But it is not very useful in understanding the vision properly. Because people have various type of doubts when the Advaita is taught. And most of the doubts will come from their own background. Depending on your background, you will get doubts. Certain doubts are possible for a Naiyayika, one who has studied a particular system of philosophy called Nyaya philosophy. He will have certain type of doubt, and it has to be addressed in a particular way using his own rhetorics. So that is what the author is doing here. So, since there are no Naiyayikas sitting here, we can, for us, ignorance is bliss. And if somebody is curious to understand this, I have taught Pancadasi with the Ramakrishna Vyakhya in some other place, and they can get the recordings and listen to it. There it is explained in a greater detail, but it is only for curiosity. Let's go to 53. Ittha vakyaistadarthanu sandhanam shravanam bhavet yuktya sambhavitatvanu sandhanam mananantu tat. So the author has already explained how to analyze the Mahavakya, how to understand the meaning of Mahavakya, the vision conveyed by Mahavakya. Now the author is explaining the sadhana. So here onwards, the sadhanas are explained. How to attain the jnana, how to get Atma Jnana. What is the process of attaining Atma Jnana? There are 3 steps of sadhanas in the pursuit of jnana, and they are revealed in the Maitreyi Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka-upanishad. Brihadaranyaka-upanishad has a section called Maitreyi Brahmana. It is the dialogue between Maitreyi and Yajnavalkya. Already we had a reference to Maitreyi Brahmana in the beginning of this prakarana. Atma, Nava are patyuh kamaya patif priyo bhavati ityadi. So Atma is the dearest. Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi, Atma is the dearest to everyone. Atma is dearest means if you have to find the greatest happiness, you should get Atma. So how to get the Atma? How to attain the Atma? Then Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi, Atma va are drashtavyaha shotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha. Atma va are drashtavyaha. Atma has to be known. Attaining the Atma is nothing but knowing the Atma. There is no other attainment. than knowing the Atma. Because Atma is already there. It is your own Swarupa. It is your own nature. Therefore, getting the Atma, Atma Prapti, is nothing but Atma Jnana. Therefore, Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi, Atma va are drashtavyaha. Atma is worth knowing. Anything else is not worth knowing. Atma is worth knowing. Because knowing the Atma, you attain the Atma. And the attainment of the Atma is attainment of Paramananda. Because Atma is Paramananda Swarupa. So, how to know the Atma? What is the way to know the Atma? Shotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha. So, Yajnavalkya gives 3 sadhanas. Shotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Meaning, one should do Shavana. Shotavyaha means one should do Shavana. Mantavyaha means one should do Manana. Nididhyasitavyaha, one should do Nididhyasana. Therefore, these are the 3 sadhanas: Shavana, Manana and Nididhyasana. By means of Shavana, Manana and Nididhyasana, one attains Atmajnana. Now, what is Shavana? What is Manana? And what is Nididhyasana? The author is explaining them in brief in following shlokas. So, Ittham vakyais tadarthanusandhanam shavanam bhavet. So, what is Shavana? The author says, Shavana is ascertaining the purport of the Vedanta Vakya as Jiva Brahma Aikya. The author has already given some example for Shavana, how the Mahavakya is analyzed. Even understanding this is a Shavana. Understanding the analysis of Mahavakya, that is also Shavana. So, Shavana means ascertaining the purport of Vedanta. So, Vakyaihi, by means of Vakya, in order to ascertain the purport of Vedanta, we should make use of the Vedanta Vakyas themselves. We have to analyze the Vedanta Vakyas. And we have a tool for analyzing the Vedanta Vakyas. We have a tool for understanding the purport of Vedanta Vakyas. What is the purport of a given section of Vedanta? We employ the tool and find out the purport. Because see, this process is very important, because the same Vedanta Vakya, people may interpret it in different ways. So many schools of thoughts, they study the same Vedanta. There is a Dvaita. The Dvaitis also study the same Vedanta. And they say Vedanta teaches Ishvara is different from Jiva. The Dvaitis conclude so. Then there is Vishishtadvaita. Vedanta says you are just a small part of Ishvara. You are not Ishvara. You are a part of Ishvara. And Jagat is Satya. For Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita, Jagat is Satya. So when they study the same Vedanta, they interpret it in different ways. Now, a student who comes to Vedanta, he might have heard all these interpretations. He goes to one person, he says Dvaita, Vedanta teaches Dvaita. He goes to another person, he says Vedanta teaches Vishishtadvaita. He goes to another person, he says Vedanta teaches meditation. Vedanta teaches Upasana. So there are various interpretations of the same Vedanta. Then how to understand the true purport of Vedanta? What really Vedanta means to convey? This requires some effort. So understanding the true purport of Vedanta clearly, this process is called Shravana. And for that we use the tool of Upakramadi Shadlinga. Upakramadi Shadlinga. There are 6 lingas, 6 indications. Upakramopasamharo abhyaso purvata phalam arthavadopapatti cha lingam tatparya nirnaye. So let me explain this with an example. Suppose there is an article. You come across an article. Somebody has written an article in newspaper. You want to understand what is the central theme of this article, what the author is trying to convey in this article. You want to understand. Then how do you analyze the article? First you have to see what he says in the first paragraph, in the beginning, and then you see what he says at the end, last paragraph. The purport is generally mentioned in the introduction and conclusion. You have to see the introduction and conclusion. So, introduction and conclusion are called upakrama, upasamhara respectively. Upakrama and upasamhara. Upakrama means introduction, upasamhara means conclusion, last. Then abhyasa, the purport might have been repeated at least a few times in the article. So, abhyasa. For example, somebody wrote an article, smoking is good or bad? Question. In the article you cannot, if you see the heading you cannot make out sometimes. Smoking, good or bad? Question mark in the heading. Then you doubt whether he is supporting smoking or whether he is against smoking. When you see the heading, you are not able to find out. In fact, nowadays some YouTube videos they put like that. When you just see the title, you cannot make out what he means to convey. So, only when you read the article you make out what the author intends to convey, what is author's stand, you want to understand. So, see the introduction. In the introduction, he might have conveyed his stand. At least he might have indicated, some indication will be there. And conclusion, there will be a stronger indication. Perhaps he might have clearly spelt out in the conclusion. So, upakrama, upasamhara. And in between, he might have repeated, smoking is injurious to health. There may be line to this effect at least 2 or 3 times in the middle. It is called repetition. Repetition of the central theme. It is called abhyasa. And one more, apurvata. Apurvata means the teaching of Vedanta should not be available for any other means of knowledge. It should not be available to any other pramana. It should be unique. Suppose the teaching of Vedanta is available to some other means of knowledge, then it cannot be the purport of Vedanta. For example, Vedanta says, fire is hot. There is a passage in the Veda, and in the passage there is a line, fire is hot. So, can it be the purport of that particular section of Veda? It cannot be the purport, because it is known to other means of knowledge. We know it in the world. It is known by pratyaksha pramana. Fire is hot. Therefore, anything known by other means of knowledge cannot be the purport of Vedanta. If it has to be the purport of Vedanta, it should not be available to any other means of knowledge. So, apurvata and phalam. Phalam means the purport of Vedanta should have a phala, should have a purpose, a prayojana. If knowing something has no prayojana, no phala, for example, Vajrahastaf Purandaraha, Indra has a Vajra in his hand, it is told somewhere in the Veda. Knowing that, will it give some phala? It won't give you any phala. Just knowing Indra has Vajra in his hand will not give you anything. Therefore, it cannot be the purport. So, phalam. Then arthavada. The purport will be glorified. There is glorification of Jiva Brahma Aikya. And upapatti. Upapatti means logic. The central teaching of Vedanta should be logically supportable. It is called upapatti. So, these are the 6 lingas, 6 indications. When we analyze a section of Vedanta, we look for these 6 indications. And with the help of these 6 indications, we understand the purport of Vedanta. So, if we apply this tool, whether there are 6 indications, in what direction do these 6 indications point, then we understand Vedanta teaches Jiva Brahma Aikya. They are not talking about duality. They are not talking about anything else. They reveal Jiva Brahma Aikya. So, this process is called Shravana. So, Shravana is a long process, taking help of many sections of Vedanta. The Acharya teaches the student, see, this is what Vedanta is trying to convey. And the teacher makes the student see that it is the purport of Vedanta. The teacher does not ask the student to believe in what he says. I am saying so, believe. The teacher has to connect the student with the Shastra. See, this is what the Shastra is saying. So, this is the process of Shravana. So, Shravana doesn't mean just listening. So, Shravana is a particular type of analysis. Analysis of the Vedanta Vakyas in order to understand their purport clearly. So, itham vakyaihi तदर्थानुसंधानम वाक्यैः अर्थ अनुसंधानम, understanding the purport of Vedanta. It is called Shravanam. Now the author is explaining what is Mananam in the second line. We will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.